It's time for Market Explainer, your number one business news podcast. Hosted by Danny and the big man. And it starts right now.
Yeah, so Amazon, like I was saying, is shutting down 68 retail stores. It's closing Amazon Books. By the way, for those of you all unfamiliar, Amazon opened bookstores
They did.
after killing Borders Books. Okay? Jeff Bezos, with his bare hands, went through Borders Books and like, I need a dick rocket. You have to die for my dick rocket.
Right?
And this is, of course, the big man's going to get into it, but there was a stock split that they just announced. So this all kind of happened in the same time. So their 4-star stores are closing. I don't know what that is, but I do know when I've tried to return stuff to Kohl's or the UPS store. So he said, well, you could return it and get your refund 8 seconds faster if you go to 4-star. I'm like, I'm not going to walk. I had to walk into a mall, okay? It was in a mall, and they said if you just...
So 4-star stores
Yeah.
were stores that Amazon tried to open up as a retail front.
Yes.
And what they stocked it with was not just Amazon products like the Amazon pop-up stores where they carried their personal brands. It was things that were heavy movers. 4-star plus, right on the website, had good reviews, were heavy movers. So it was like a retail location of hot items. Right? So, like you said, pop-ups, Amazon Books, Amazon 4. Look, this is... I know Danny loves his headlines, right? The apocalypse comes for the retail apocalypse. Look, this is Amazon being what we always talk about nimble. They're trying things to expand their footprint. And guess what? If it doesn't work, like obviously these haven't, they cut them off. All the Whole Foods are going to stay open. All the Freshes are going to stay open. Right. So it's not like they said, hey, we're killing our retail footprint. They're just saying, hey, these things suck. Yeah. Let's get rid of them.
Our non-food retail is what they're killing. What I love about this part of the story is that they killed their Amazon Books stores. And the fact that they had Amazon Books stores makes me happy because so growing up as a young man in the, mid 2000s, that's like a bookstore, as nerdy as this sounds, is like me and the boys would meet up at a bookstore. Like we'll go to Barnes & Noble. And we would go through Modified magazine, Super Street magazine. We would go through, there's like every year there was a Wheel catalog that came out that bookstores carry. I mean, so we did a lot of stuff in a bookstore because they had, whatever is a place to go. But it's wild to me that they had them after killing them.
So your great idea to expand is to replace what you destroyed. And look, and I think you and I may have done a video or at least talked about a video when Amazon opened up bookstores and we were like, this sounds insane. Maybe it was just a conversation you and I had. That was like, this sounds insane. And I agree with you from that standpoint. But again, this just shows that Amazon is willing to try things. They flat out, as part of this article that they came out with, said, we're not giving up on retail space and making physical locations. It's still part of their ultimate business plan. This is just something, again, they've tried. It didn't work. Let's cut our losses. They are trying to do the right thing and relocate employees as far as, hey, you're not working here anymore. Go to work in our warehouse or whatever.
I'm sure if you went from working Amazon retail, you're like, oh, I can't wait to go work in the warehouse. It's going to take me 40 minutes to walk to the bathroom to take a piss. But I got a 30-minute break, so I guess, we'll just have to piss. And I mean, the stories of Amazon's warehouse, our warehouse workers, they're horrifying. Still doesn't get me not to buy things, though. Like, I'm still ordering.
Well,
I'm American,
look,
aren't
you're
I?
You're going to. And look, all of this, Amazon's a big enough company that they could literally create a retail environment, like in this case, Amazon Books or these Amazon Go stores, which they're keeping and stuff like that, just to try out their technology. They've been pushing this cashierless Amazon Go stores for years. They've been trying technologies like the scanners on the cart where all you got to do is put your groceries in your cart and it automatically charges for you and you walk out the door, right? They've been trying these technologies, and for a company as big as Amazon to open up a retail location just to try out this technology for a year to work out all the bugs before they make it available to Walmarts and everybody else is nothing to them from an R&D standpoint.
Right, because as we, let's just jump into this part of it, is that they announced a 20-to-1 stock split, and they're doing a $10 billion stock buyback, which in the context of their market cap, $10 billion is a drop in the bucket. But Amazon is such a big company that they can afford to do this kind of stuff. Can you imagine any other company saying we're going to close this entire section of our retail business, and it not being like well, it was cool all lasted, da 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 da,
it affects nothing. Stuff. Their bottom line as far as profits, they've already accounted for all of this, and it affects nothing as far as their profits for the year because it was a trial and such a small part of this huge pie. And here's the deal, the 20-to-1 split, I think, comes at a time they go, okay, they've now spun this closing 68. This may be perceived as a failure. They're spinning as a positive because they're like, look, we're cutting the fat and we're doing a 20-to-1 split. Now, for those of you that don't know, Amazon was one of the first stocks as far as a whole. The fact of a stock's getting into what we 4-digit characters.
Let me ask you a question. I don't know this because, again, I'm never going to be an investor. I'm always going to be a gambler, and I don't care about the kind of fundamentals of investing because that's for nerdy suckers who are like, yes, math. I'm doing math, Danny.
I'm one of those nerdy suckers, but go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Is a stock split generally viewed as good or bad?
Wonderful. The reverse split is the one that's bad, right?
Awesome.
Okay, so stock splits
I'm trading a pink sheet that just traded
the reverse split. Yeah, that's a big indicator. You should probably anyway. So a stock split is considered good because what you're thinking is I need more stock shares. So traditionally, it was very rare for a company to continue to just let their share price rise into the thousands. So Amazon was one of the first that just considered the first 2.5 years Amazon was in existence, it split 3 times.
Okay.
Since then, it has not. It's been like a company thing. Nope, we're not going to split. All the way up to currently, as of close of business yesterday, 2,000 one share of Amazon, $2,917.
Right.
That's a lot. Single share. So by going a 20-to-1 split, if they split yesterday, which it wasn't, but if they split yesterday, that one per share price goes down to $29.17 divided by 20, essentially $146 a share. Right. Now, the reason companies traditionally do that over and over and over again is to keep that share price low enough that what we call your retail investors, right? Retail investors meaning you, me, Joe Bob, funds, know what I mean? Big regular the retail investor can invest in Amazon, right? Now, they've done that the opposite of normal. Right? Walgreens had a standing policy for 30 years that if their stock got over $50 a share for a quarter, they would split it because they wanted your everyday mom and pop to keep buying shares. Now, the question comes, is Amazon doing this because they want mom and pop to own a piece of Amazon, or are they doing it just because it drives up their stock value? Because think about it. If I don't own a single share of Amazon as of this article coming out, and I buy 30 shares. Well, I get to multiply that 30 shares at this split by 20.
Right.
I go from owning 30 shares to owning 600 shares.
Right.
I wait a little bit, let it climb a little bit because that's what it always does after the split. And then I sell 300 and now I have 300 for the price that you see what I'm saying? Everybody plays that game. There are certain companies out there that when they announce a split, Danny, and this happens over and over because people ride that wave, that go 2, 3, and 400% right before the split. And then it splits. Everybody starts taking their, you know what I mean, profits. And it levels back out to where it should be. So it kind of before the meme stock stuff, kind of meme stock. And you do that to drive that stock price. Anyway, these are all good things for Amazon. Here's the one thing I will say. The downside of being a publicly traded company is a stock split has to be approved by shareholders. Now, there's no reason to say that Amazon doesn't have enough pull and power to get this pushed through, but the stockholders could say no.
No.
And sometimes they do as a company. That's not expected in this case, but it could, right?
So how do they get stockholders to vote on it? I don't get how that works.
You literally have a meeting, and the people that vote. Right. You have a shareholders meeting and people that vote. So in this case, they're having a shareholders meeting, I think, at the end of the month or beginning of next month, April. And they'll literally give out, and even if you own one share of Amazon, obviously you get a vote. Right. And the reason this takes so long, so like they're not even expecting this till June, even though they just announced it. That's 3 months off, and the reason is because they have to do, the SEC has them do certain things. So, for example, if you own shares of Amazon right now and you have no idea about this article, you don't keep up with it. I just invested in Amazon. I let it sit. I'm a long-term investor. You're going to get a letter in the mail that says, "Hey, Amazon is wanting you to vote on blah, 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 blah." And it'll give you the ways to vote on it and when to vote on it and blah, blah, blah. And what happens, like most things, like city politics, most people don't vote.
Right. Nor should they. Voting is evil.
Right. Yeah. So most people don't vote. So the people that decide it are the people that are institutional investors, Jeff Bezos.
The ding-dong who shows up for the thing.
Exactly. So, and then they make that decision and they go back. Here's the deal about the buybacks and why that's such an important thing. $10 billion is not a lot of money in the grand scheme of Amazon, but any company that buys back its stock is, again, a big indicator that at least the company believes
that it's going to be going up,
that it's going to skyrocket. That's why they're buying it back, is because they think it's the ownership of it is going to skyrocket. And here's the deal, so much so that the SEC over the years, over the last couple of decades, even into the 90s, has been pressured to not allow company buybacks. Because they look at it as almost insider trading. If I know as a company that I've got, I don't know, let's just say I build tanks, right? And I know that I've got 15 government contracts coming next year. Nobody knows about them yet. I can't even say that I have them yet, but I know I've got 15 government contracts coming next year, and I institute a company buyback because it's $1 a share right now. But I know as of next year,
it's going to go to be 6.
It's going to go. Yeah, you see what I'm saying? So buybacks can be one of those things where the SEC goes, "This is a little shady."
Yeah, and my thing is, insider trading shouldn't even be a crime. Like, that's not even a crime to me. Like, there's no victim in insider trading. Okay.
Well,
there's just
the victim in buybacks is the people you're purchasing it from, right? So, but again, it's all speculative. It's all speculative.
You're not entitled as a human being. You're not entitled to return on investment. That's not something you're entitled to.
So and that's where that's why it's not illegal, right? Take DraftKings, for example. DraftKings is all over the news right now because DraftKings has instituted their stock has taken a beating all year long, and the CEO of DraftKings, I think I sent you the article yesterday, has come out and said, "Hey, everybody that's selling today because the stock is down 70%, they're going to regret it. Now they might or might not, but it's speculative, right?"
Right, but so that language is it's probably perfectly legal for him to say. Not that I care about the law, but something about it makes me seem he's going to be announcing in the next, 6 months. They have some huge deal with who knows.
Who knows? But Amazon, if you bought Amazon when I remember when Amazon first came out. I bought shares of Amazon opening day because I knew there was going to be at least a couple of days bump. Right?
Yeah.
So the speculation was that it was going to come out at $70 a share, right? That estimate of where it should come out, okay?
Right.
It hit the market at 60 something dollars a share and then immediately bounced up to 90 something dollars a share. I think it was 93. So opening day, bought at I think 67, sold at like 93, right?
Did you keep any?
No. Not a single one.
Are you full of regret?
But this is my point. This is my point entirely. We talk about buybacks and speculation. Is if you bought at $67 a share or $90 a share or $100 a share, again, that same share is worth way more because they split several times the first couple of years. So your one share would have probably been with the splits, let's call it 30. Let's say they had a 10, 10, and a 10. It would be worth 30 shares at $3,000 a share.
Yeah. Full of regret.
One share would be worth 30. You see what I'm saying? So that's where people, but if you told people at the time that were taking their profits at maybe they bought it at 90 and they sold it at 300.
Yeah.
Right? Well, I got $200 a share. I mean, I'm not bad. But then you fast forward 10 years and go, I sold it at $200 and it's worth $3,000.
Yeah. Now you feel stupid. I know. There's always that tweet I see when I'm on Instagram, like, Bitcoin Instagram or cryptocurrency Instagram, which is just, that's what ends up in my feed sometimes. And it's this guy who tweeted something like, man, Bitcoin went from $8 to $4. I'm glad I got out of that. And somebody found his tweet or, replied to it and was just like, is this guy still alive? And that guy replied to that tweet and said, I'm here, but I don't know if I'm alive, but then inside, something like that.
Well, look, this is all hard because you don't know what the next Amazon is. Amazon was told in the beginning it wasn't going to be around. They sold books through the mail, right? Like, did anybody in the 90s look at Jeff Bezos with his thinning hair back then, his tall, skinny, lanky, nerdy body that he no longer has? Apparently, there's some, muscle in a bag that these rich people buy, right?
No, it's not what they buy. It is it's injected. They don't get them implanted. It's injected.
Nobody back then in the mid and late 90s looked at Jeff Bezos and like, wait a minute, you're gonna put books in the mail and mail them to people, right? And go, hey, that guy's company is going to be one of the biggest companies in the world 20 years from now. Very few people thought that. Very few people thought that. Right?
There's a clip too of he's getting interviewed on 2020. Do people remember 2020? Before your girlfriend wanted to make you listen to a true crime podcast.
Before podcasts were a thing.
Yeah, while you were driving through East Texas to visit her family in New Mexico. Oh, sorry, West Texas.
West Texas. I knew what you meant.
Yeah, it's a homicidal drive, by the way. Yeah, like, it makes you want to. It makes me stabby. It's like when I drink tequila. It makes me stabby. Okay, your mom would sit down and go, "Did you see this on 2020? Somebody murdered." There's that clip of him where they're driving through Seattle. And the interviewer goes, so your company, it's worth, X number of dollars. You own so much stock, probably a billionaire. And he goes, okay, is there a question? And he goes, yeah. What's with the Honda Accord? Like, and let me tell you something. If there's one thing, closing the story out, let me just say about myself personally. There's one thing I can't stand. It's a wealthy person pretending not to be wealthy. It's like, stop doing this. What do you... Like, there was, the former candidate for the president of the United States, Mitt Romney. There was a documentary about him that came out on Netflix. It was actually pretty good. I didn't vote for him, but I just thought it was a good documentary.
Yeah.
And he's a wealthy guy. He's worth, I don't know if he's worth $1 billion, but a lot.
Yeah, but
money.
His family's worth a lot.
Yeah. He had, the range hood in one of his he has several multi-million-dollar homes throughout the country. On the range hood on one of them, he put a light bulb that was not the appropriate size, so it protruded from the fixture. And it was kind of this like, we're down home. We're not going to get like...
I'm not going to put the right bulb in.
We just got the bulb that we got. You have hundreds of millions of dollars. This is one of your several mansions, and God bless you for having them because this is America.
Sure. Sure.
You should have your mansions. And then run for Senate. I don't get it.
Yeah.
But whatever. You should do that. But hey, bro, you off camera. There is Julio. Go get Julio to put the right bulb in. Okay?
I did not say that. I am not responsible for Danny using the name Julio or what he's insinuating. Market Explainer is not responsible for Danny's racism. All of those kind of things.
That is not racism. That is race realism, okay? There's nothing wrong with loving our domestic workers. We love these people.
Whatever. The point is, Amazon is just being nimble. They're cutting the fat, releasing the 20-to-1 split. I think this was all the way they did it is strategic, and it'll ultimately be good for them. But look, in the future, the next 10, 20 years, Amazon's going to push back into retail. It just is. Whether it's small shops that are, you walk in, you grab your candy bar, your cold drink, and you walk back out for lunch, and it's just little bitty shops in malls or bigger stores or whatever, they're going to find a way to put their product in your neighborhood. That's what they want.
I think they're going to end up, a prediction, they're going to end up acquiring GoPuff or creating a GoPuff style business and homiciding GoPuff. And hey,
that reminded me of something really quick before we get in there. There's been here in Texas, we have toll roads, and a lot of these toll roads were built right before the technology of the toll tags that we all use nowadays. So a lot of these places have, on these toll roads, you have kind of these old school toll booths that everybody used to go through that now are empty. There have been several companies over the years, and look, the people that own these toll roads too, like, hey, what can we do with this real estate of things? There have been several people that have tried to monetize that by going, hey, let's put small booth-sized retail shops on these toll roads so that people driving home in the evening, you know what I mean? They're like, hey, I need milk, I need whatever, and you put just these items that everybody needs or wants, and then put them through. Could you see an Amazon though go in and say, hey, we're going to take these toll booths, we're going to build them out a little bit, right? Yeah. And we're going to put Amazon products through these.
Listen, I don't believe in government, and I believe that roads should be privatized like 2/3 of Sweden's roads are. But if you told me that there's an Amazon tollway, that I believe would be a living hell. So,
I'm just saying that if you could pick up certain crap on the way home and not get off the toll road, just pull over into the toll booth.
If you called me and said, hey, man, do you want to come visit it this weekend? Yeah, just drop on the Amazon toll road. You know what I'm doing? Lighting myself on fire. No, thanks.
I'm just saying there are people out there that would pay convenience store pricing or more to literally, no, it's on my way home. Because you're on a toll road for a reason, right? You're heading out of town. You're heading, right? You're paying to not be on the road with everybody else.
I can already hear you complaining about Mrs. the Big Man. Like,
can you stopping at the Amazon toll booth? And
Yeah, I can already see that happening. Yeah. All right, we're going to jump into this next story. But before we do that, patreon.com/Market Explainer. You can go check that out. Our full episodes are up there. And also, I want you to comment on one of these clips. If you want to see a weight loss challenge exclusive to Patreon between myself and the Big Man, to see what I think it'd be funny.
So, if you're paying per pound, you're losing a bunch. That's all I'm saying. All right.
There's websites where we can set up a bet between the two of us.
It's amazing what I'll do for $1. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I know.
I'm
just saying there's a website where we can go set up a bet between the two of us and other people can bet on us losing weight. And if that's something people want to see on patreon.com/Market Explainer, just throw us a comment. Tweet us at Market Explainer and let us know how you feel about that.
Oh, I'm gonna start a huge man's OnlyFans. That's what I'm gonna do, but we're gonna call it something completely different.
Yeah.
It's gonna be Chunkendales. That's what it is. Download the Chunkendales app today.
Right. So anyway. 10 years ago, I did a weight loss challenge because from Tim Ferriss's book. Tim Ferriss lives in town, so we can track him down and be like, hey man, I did this stuff in your book and I lost a bunch of weight. Then I put it back on, but hey, that's just how being a chunky person is. You never throw away the big pants until you're until you get the surgery.
You never throw away the big pants. Anyway, speaking of big pants, what do we got next?